Merry Christmas, Shalloners. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Diwali, and Happy Kwanzaa. That's right. It's the holidays. In fact, it's Christmas Eve right as I'm filming this. I'm here in my family's house in beautiful Newport Beach, California, and I have a lot to be thankful for, right? My hair is long and shiny, longer than it's ever been in my life. Yeah, we're starting with the big blessings first. I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm thriving, this channel's doing well, I have a beautiful tree with a lot of presents, a gorgeous view in a warm climate, and yet, 2 hours ago I was crying in the car. Why? Well, the holidays aren't always the bonanza of happiness that we think they're going to be, nay, that we expect them to be. In fact, for most of us, the holidays can be really difficult because I've identified sort of like the 4 horsemen of the Christmas apocalypse. You feel fat, you feel poor, you're brokenhearted over a boy, you're stressed about your family. In come these 4 horsemen. So today we're going to talk about how to deal with being kind of unhappy on Christmas for whatever reason. And I'm going to talk you guys off the holiday seasonal affective disorder ledge and talk you into a better mood. Because that's what we do here, right? It's a Christmas miracle. But first, just want to remind you guys to follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you weigh in on a video topic. You guys suggested this video topic for me, and we're doing it. Also, please note that I am pausing questions. I usually take questions on my website, shallonlester.com, but I'm on Christmas break until January 1st so that I can catch up on what I have. And yes, don't worry, I'm answering all the questions on the GoFundMe tonight and tomorrow. I'm working on Christmas for y'all. That's how much I love you. And yes, we have a GoFundMe set up for a homeless mom of 3 in Atlanta. You can shop on her Amazon wish list right down here in the link, or if you donate $25 or more to the GoFundMe, you get a free question with me. Just leave it in the comment section and I get to it. I promise I'm coming. There's a lot because you guys are so generous and you donate so much. And I appreciate it. Like, it's miraculous. Also miraculous is to get through the holidays without devolving into tears at some point. I can barely do it. I do this thing I call micro sobbing, where like, I'll be fine, and then I'll see like a commercial that hits me wrong, and I'm like, "Ugh," and I'm just like, it's just like, it's almost like a sneeze, but it's tears. And I micro sob throughout most of my life. And then like 30 seconds later, I'm laughing about something. And part of me wonders, I'm like, am I like coming unglued? Like, is this a mental break? Am I having a psychotic break? And I've been having one for the last 3 years and I just don't know. And everyone's too afraid to tell me? Maybe. But also, it can be holiday stress, right? Because here's what Christmas is supposed to be, in theory. A time for family, a time for rest, a time for laying aside grudges and cultivating kindness and warmth and happiness and Jesus and all these other things. And here's what it is like supposed to be in 2019. Massive amounts of presents, insane Kardashian over-the-top Christmas trees, huge sweeping declarations of love from every guy you've ever kissed, had a crush on, or slept with, or even followed on Instagram, right? It's supposed to be the time where your parents stop being themselves, stop being toxic or having bizarre dynamics, lay down their arms, and everyone gets along and holds hands and sings Kumbaya. Neither one of those scenarios are going to happen, right? As we learn. So my grandfather was the most famous Italian author in like modern Italian literature. He was kind of like a Faulkner, Caesar Pavese. And he had this quote that they put on coffee mugs, magnets. It was, "We do not remember days, we remember moments." And we have that, like, every time I find it on something, I buy it. It was my grandfather, for goodness sakes. So I really try to keep that as my life motto. And what does that have to do with Christmas? Well, Christmas is a series of moments. Life is a series of moments. And we can't expect one entire day from dawn to dusk to be nothing but wonderful magicalness. There's going to be micro sobs. And they might not be an actual, the Peloton commercial, like where you're actually micro sobbing like me, a lunatic. It might just be these inevitable, these dips that, you see something that makes you sad. You hear something that makes you sad. I'm very like musically malleable. If I'm in a good mood and like Christmas Is When You Were Mine from Taylor Swift comes on, I'm in tears. Like, no matter what. Because I'm called to remember bad things and I allow myself to get pulled into a negative spiral. This Christmas, let's try a positive spiral. the hell is a positive spiral? I did a challenge about this a while ago, like quite a few months ago. But what if instead of going like negative, 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 catastrophic, catastrophic, what if we went the opposite way? Gee, my body feels good. I'm not in any pain. I'm not in any pain because maybe my body's like running on an optimal level. Maybe I'm getting thinner and healthier. Maybe I look thin and healthy already. Maybe I am so lucky I have this kind of health. Maybe I'm going to go walk outside and I'm going to say hello to everyone. And maybe everyone's going to look at me and be like, now that's a girl who's healthy. And that healthiness is going to cultivate into more gratitude. That's what a positive spiral is. And it was hard for me to write that script just now as I said it to you, because it doesn't come naturally to us. We are hardwired, or society has hardwired us, or whatever. You know what? No. I'm not going to say we're hardwired, because I truly do not think whatever gods we worship mean us purposefully to be negative. I really don't believe that. We are put on this earth to be positive, to procreate, to go forth, to conquer, but in like a positive way. So we are meant to inhabit that positive spiral space. But like anything else, you have to practice to be good at it, whether that's playing the clarinet, building a rocket ship, or having sex. You got to practice. You know what I mean? I always tell you guys to practice having sex with others or alone. It doesn't really matter. Practice is practice. So we're going to talk about when to implement the positive spirals. But let's break down those 4 horsemen of the Christmas apocalypse, right? Fat, poor, brokenhearted, family stress. Now, it used to be that before social media, and some of you guys have never experienced life before social media. I have. I'm an elder millennial. So I remember when like you were only comparing yourself literally to people you knew. And that was bad enough. That was bad enough to compare yourself to like the Caitlin McDonald's of like your high school. And how could she ever be upset? Like she takes her paychecks and she goes to Tiffany's because her parents pay for everything. And she's so thin and all the boys love her. And I had every Christmas, there was like one entity that I was comparing myself to, right? Whether it was Britney Spears, because I like loved, right? Like worshiped her, or the Caitlin McDonald's of like my high school, or the Kardashians, or my friend who just got engaged, or my friend who had a puppy. But there was never a Christmas where I wasn't comparing myself to somebody else, except for this one. Except for this one. And I really consider that a win. Because comparison is kind of inevitable, right? Sadness and the micro sob moments are a bit inevitable. But if we can experience them purely within our own like emotional vacuum and not take that and create a negative spiral where it's like, I feel sad that I can't buy this Cartier love bracelet for my mom. And if we can just keep it there, I feel sad that I can't do this thing, instead of, because Kylie Jenner could do that. And you know what else Kylie could do? She can wear whatever she wants because she's so thin and she's got a big butt. And you know what? Her hair never looks like it has extensions in it, even though when I put extensions in my hair, I look like I just crawled out of a trailer park. Like, so for me, experiencing the sadness and the micro sobs in that sort of bracketed emotional space feels like a win, because that tells me I now have control over this. I have more mastery over my thoughts, and I have at least sandbagged off how this spiral is going to go, right? And so now I can move on to the next plane, which is detaching that feeling from this micro sob. I can't buy my mom a Cartier bracelet this year. Okay, let's make that the goal for next year in terms of revenue. That's going to be my big goal. Or do you think your mom even wants or needs a Cartier bracelet? Probably not. She's pretty low key. I don't think this matters to her, And so I can wind it back and I can undo that sadness. But what does that have to do with you guys? What does that have to do with the other 4 horsemen? Because sometimes the thing that we fixate on isn't going to bring us that happiness anyway. I remember having so many Christmases where, I look back and the only thing I remember is the feeling of feeling sad and upset because I was either fat, I wasn't, I felt fat, or a guy didn't like me. What guy? I don't even remember. And don't that say it all? Don't that say it all? I created this narrative of sadness in my mind at Christmas time purely because I thought whatever I had didn't match up to what I wanted, even though I couldn't really define what I wanted. as evidenced by, I don't even remember who these guys were. No clue. No clue whatsoever who these people were, that I was like throwing myself dramatically on the bed at Christmas and like sulking around, slithering around the house, not enjoying things, only listening to the sad Christmas songs. It's like, literally, what was wrong with me? How tragic. The real sadness, the real takeaway sadness from that is that I wasn't living in the present. I was living in this shadow realm of desire anchored to who the fuck knows what, right? I wanted a guy, but I don't know who they were and I don't remember, so clearly they weren't that important. What? It was the same with being thin. Is there anything sadder than letting something like that ruin your Christmas? Is there anything sadder? But I know what you're thinking. Okay, Shallon, well, being broken-hearted over a fuckboy and feeling fat when you're not is in your mind. My problems are very, very real. I don't have a lot of money. My parents are super toxic. My parents are incredibly religious and I'm not, and I feel trapped here and I don't feel like I belong. We do not remember days, we remember moments. What does this have to do with that? We can't expect the entirety of an experience to be wonderful. And that's the bad news. The good news is that you can't expect the entirety of an experience to be bad. There are good points in whatever it is you're experiencing. I posted about this on my Instagram the other day, like this quote. And when I read this, my initial kickback was like, well, what if your like negative feelings and your like negativity is actually you just seeing the reality of your circumstances, right? Like you are poor, you do have a difficult family, you do feel trapped, your health isn't where it should be, of course. And, you know, we can't pretend that like reality doesn't exist, but we can change our standpoint. At the crossroads of every difficulty, it truly is a crossroads. We have a choice. We have an attitude choice, and it is truly a binary choice. We can say, I accept this. I'm always going to be poor. No one's ever going to love me. I'm going to be fat like this. Of course I don't have a boyfriend. Look at me. I'm disgusting. Or you can take the other fork in the road, and you can say, this health diagnosis, this is not who I am. These troubles came to pass. They did not come to stay. That wording is such in the Bible for a reason. I walked through the valley of the shadow of death. I did not stay in the valley of the shadow of death, right? Like when you look at it from that point of view, it's like these simple word choices are not simple. They are very meaningful. And we find this kind of meaning in texts, you know, in any religion. On mugs from my grandfather, right? We remember moments, not just days. We remember moments. We go through that valley. So you can have that attitude shift. Of course somebody's going to love me. I'm lovable because I am this, this, this. My family is difficult right now, but I'm going to create my own family through my friends, through my coworkers, through my hobbies, through my own space in this world. No, I don't have money right now. And you know what? If that's what I want, and listen, girl, listen, you know how I talk about the 4 horsemen? This is a quick TO. I have experienced all 4 at once. And let me tell you, the best horseman of all, if you have to like cut out one horseman and like be rich over a boy, have money. They say money can't buy happiness. Oh, yes, it can. Because you know what it can buy? It can buy things for other people, and that is true happiness. It can buy donations for people who need it. It can buy gifts for your family and put a smile on their face. That's happiness. Some dude named Chad, that ain't. So, but if money is the thing that you want, it should be. Financial freedom is the only freedom. It is the only freedom that there is. Health is your only freedom, and money is your freedom, okay? Everything else is interchangeable. You think that's the only boy you're ever going to like? You think that's the only friend you're going to have? Ha ha! Baloney. But if money's the thing you want, okay, we're starting a new year. Let's make this the goal. Let's trim out those distractions in our life. Instead of scrolling Instagram for 2 hours a night, I'm going to get my resume together. I'm going to be sending out pitches for new jobs. I'm going to be applying for places. I'm going to be applying to that college I want to go to, right? I'm going to be studying so that I can graduate, get the job I want, move to the city I want, and live a life like Shallon Lester does. With a blowout, you know. And then we're going to streamline our decision-making, right? And what is that? What is that? That's power. And we're back to this bracketed sadness, right? Now, this sadness isn't just, I'm going to be poor forever. This is my lot in life. I don't deserve anything better. I can never pull myself out of it. Nope. I'm poor right now. Okay. We're cutting it off there. We're sandbagging that phrase in and we're working on it. We're digging ourselves out of that. And whatever it is that you want. Now say it's like, okay, Shallon, well, that's great. I really could maybe have control over my finances. I can't control my family. You're right about that. None of us can control other people. None of us can. Oh, this is coffee bean and tea leaf iced tea, and it's all I live for. The little ice. Yeah, I have two sitting here. The little bullet ice, and then you put an orange. Always drink iced tea with an orange, not a lemon. A lemon is bougie. An orange, elevated. It's going to change your life, I promise you. You're right. You can't change your family. You can't change the past. You can't change how they trigger you. They know what buttons to push. They installed them, right? But you can bracket in that feeling and bracket in your involvement in this family. Fuck blood. I say this all the time. Fuck blood. If you erode my peace, if you downplay my dreams, if you minimize me, if you gaslight me, you don't have a place in my life. I don't care if we shared a body for 9 months. It doesn't matter. I was not put on this earth to be miserable, right? We talked about that in the beginning. You weren't either. I was not put on this earth to serve a group of people who don't serve me back. Out of what? Guilt? Obligation? No. Save your heartache. Save your money and hire caretakers for when you're old, if that's what you're worried about. I mean, my goodness. You have the divine right to protect your peace. And sometimes that means doing what we're talking about with making money, streamlining your distractions, streamlining your decision-making. What is serving you and what isn't? What inside me isn't serving me? What attitudes and thought processes, just like that quote, are not serving me? Now, what people are not serving me? Once you start to change that mindset in your mind, you look around at your life and you're like, no. Your behavior doesn't align with my mindset anymore, right? This dynamic doesn't align with the mindset in my heart. This behavioral shift in you does not align with my behavioral shift towards my goals and my peace of mind, right? And so now these 4 horsemen up on their little horses with their red eyes are like, this bitch, what are we going to do now? They're like, I don't know. Kevin, Gary, do you have any ideas? I don't. They're going to ride away because you have taken back your power. You have taken back authority over these 4 horsemen of the Christmas apocalypse that are making you sad, that are dragging you down, and that kind of come together in this perfect storm of misery to be like, fuck this time of year. Just fuck this whole time of year. I wish I was Kylie Jenner. I wish I was Hailey Baldwin. I wish I was Britney Spears. I wish I was Caitlyn McDonald. I am none of these people. I don't think anybody wants to be Britney at this point. She's got great abs though. Calves too. But you don't have to be any of those people. You don't have to be any of those people. And it's really, really, really important to acknowledge the social mask. I said at the beginning that when I was growing up, it was pre-social media, and you really only had the people in your immediate life to compare yourself to, right? You knew of celebrities, but you didn't have this glimpse into their day-to-day lives the way we do now with social media. And the same with other people in your life. I remember growing up, I had 1 or 2 friends who grew up in the ghetto, in the projects. And they both said the same thing. We didn't know we were poor until we got to this school. I went to a really nice high school. Some of my friends, they had planes, for God's sakes. They drove nicer cars than the teachers did. And my friends who grew up in a completely different financial circumstance, they're like, we didn't know that we were poor because everyone in our housing project, in our complex, lived the same way. We knew, but we didn't have this a day-to-day stark comparison. And that really messed them up. But their character was so strong that they used that to elevate themselves, not to get bitter or hostile. They both said that they appreciated, looking back, this sort of entree into a new level of wealth because they had almost a mentality of well, this is just how you live. You live paycheck to paycheck. You live on food stamps. And they're like, oh no. So they use that not as a setback, but as a setup. But the point is, we respond to people's social mask. And back in the day, your social mask was like, I remember this girl, like when I first moved to New York, she was friends with some of my friends, Jamie, and she had a Vuitton bag, she had a Cartier bracelet, she had this like beautiful North Face coat. And I was like, good Lord, like, and we were like 24. And I'm like, does her dad buy her all that stuff or something? And they're like, no, she buys it for herself. And I was like, wow, like, what a loser I am. I was a waitress. I was interning for free in a magazine. And I'm like, man, cut to 2 years later, Jamie declared bankruptcy because all that shit she bought was on credit cards. None of it was real. I was responding to that social mask, right? And here I was, seemingly a fool, living authentically in my TJ Maxx outfits, you know, and like living in a 1-bedroom, 5-story, what bedroom? No, a 5-story studio. Not a 1-bedroom. But I was living authentically, right? And this was before social media, before you log on and you see only the most curated, perfect, flawless images that someone wants to put out there. I do it. I mean, do you think that I was posting that I was crying in the car 2 hours ago? No. It's weird. And we shouldn't be doing that, right? Because what do I say all the time? Your social media is a commercial for you, the brand. Do you want to watch a car commercial and be like, well, sometimes the tires blow for no reason. They flip over, everyone inside dies, but shh, leather interior. Like, no, you only are going to showcase the good things. That's how it should be. But we have to all keep that in mind. This is a highlight reel. Social media is a highlight reel. Even the Kardashians, like I know one of their doctors and she's like, they have a lot of problems with their bodies. They just don't show it. You just don't see it. And I was like, blew my mind. But like, of course, you're not going to get that many like surgeries to drastically reshape your physical body and be like, it's fine, no problems. It's just not going to happen. And that's the thing. Everyone is only showing the good parts. Everyone's only showing the edited things. Everyone is only showing moments. And if you look around your life for those moments, if you're sitting there at Christmas dinner and you're like, I'm going to pull my fucking hair out right now. Are you alive? Are you breathing? Are you ambulatory? Can you walk? Do you have all 10 fingers? Do you have not a spray tan that's devolving like this, where I have the arm of an ape and the hand of like a tubercular Victorian child? Then you're doing fine, okay? Compare yourself in a positive way, right? Just like those positive spirals we can cultivate. Spiral up, don't spiral down. And it really does take practice. It does. It's helpful to write it down. I keep a gratitude journal. I write down 3 things I'm grateful for every day. If they're like tiny, like I saw a bird and I think I made eye contact with it. Like sometimes it's a bird eye contact situation kind of day that you're like, I just need something. I got an extra fortune cookie in my sushi order, whatever. Whatever is like getting you through those moments to the good moment. Right? Gratitude turns what we have into enough. I tell myself this, I try to tell myself this all day long, every single day of my life, because look how blessed I am. Look how blessed you are. If you're watching this video or if you're listening to this video, you can at least hear or you can see, and that's more than some people have. And look, a little bit of shame, like, oh, I'm ashamed of myself for feeling so petty. It goes a long way. And it really is crucial. And we really do have to make that part of our day. Shame o'clock. Shame o'clock. Where we sit and we look at our blessings. And pretty soon, we're going to get so comfortable with looking at our blessings and feeling grateful, we won't feel that shame anymore. Because we know that when we feel that gratitude, we're going to take that into the rest of our lives. And we're going to work to make our lives better, other people's lives better. So shame is just kind of like the motor behind us. You know, it's just like that little like ripcord like on a lawnmower. That's all it is. It's just the little shame cord. And you're like, okay, now I'm going. I don't need this anymore. I just needed that little push off. And pretty soon you won't need it. Pretty soon that gratitude is just going to be this engine that goes of itself. And it's going to propel you from good moments into good moments into good moments. And so that when you feel those bad moments, those micro sobs, you will know that they came to pass. They did not come to stay. I feel like we got really philosophical in this video. But Christmas is a time of like philosophical reflection if you let it be. If you get out of like, how many presents do I have? I didn't get this. So-and-so is sitting there so thin and so cute and so loved up, and I bet she's getting engaged. Maybe the fuck she is, girl. Maybe she is. I got engaged once on Christmas Eve. That's probably a big reason why I've been crying like for the last few days. But for every micro sob, there's a moment where I'm like, wow. Hashtag blessed, right? So try to get yourself through this. Give yourself grace and space. Christmas is not going to be the best day of your life. I like to think that when we die, God or whoever is running the afterlife, maybe the Hindus, I don't know, the Romans, can you imagine? I hope it's a Mount Olympus situation. Ugh. I just want like Achilles there being like, this was your life, Shallon Lester. I think we get sort of like a Spotify life in review. Like, here's your top 5 days. Here's your top 5 moments. Here's the number of times you sneezed. Here's the number of times you lied. Like this sort of like yearbook. And I guarantee you, the best days of your life are not even going to be whole days. They're going to be moments. And they probably won't happen on Christmas. If they do, it's just going to be a flash, a hug from your cousin, having your dog fall asleep on your foot, noodles, whatever it might be. So just try to get to moment. And if you can't, if the situation is that stressful, know that even the bad moments will pass. That's the gift and the curse. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you guys have a really good holiday, whatever it is you're celebrating. Tell me about your Christmas traditions. Our Christmas tradition, we open all of our gifts on Christmas Eve. Not all of them, then we have like Santa's gifts the next morning. It's just my mom and I. My grandmother passed away this year, and that was really difficult, but so it's just my mama and I, but we really have our traditions. We have pizza and champagne for dinner on Christmas Eve and open our presents at night. So our family was European, and that's like what the European tradition was. And then we get up in the morning and we go to Coffee Bean and we get a Winter Dream latte and we open Santa presents, and then we go see a movie, and then we barbecue at night. So it's fun, you know, and traditions really are important. And a lot of you guys like have small families or fractured families or toxic families. Make your own goddamn traditions. You can start your own tradition, whatever it might be. Maybe it's too late this year. Maybe your tradition is you do a midwinter party in January. Something to give yourself that bracketed sadness that you're going to sandbag around it and say, nope, I can feel sad, but on the other side of that sadness is my own personal power. That's what I'm giving to myself for Christmas. Power. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, and we're going to do Retro Bay Week. Next week, I'm going to do a series of videos focusing on retro couples from like Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder, Madonna and Tupac, JFK Jr., and that lank blonde woman he married. I know you can't speak ill of the dead, but I mean, was she like the plainest person on planet Earth? We're going to break it all down and learn from it. So that's going to be coming up soon. We're going to do some videos on how to go into the new year and start fresh, what you want to leave behind, how to craft resolutions that are actually going to work. And we're going to catch up on the book club. If you haven't joined Shell Literature yet, pick up the book 3 Women by Lisa Taddeo. It's so hard for me to get through because there's so much to unpack. It's so good. We're going to do some videos on that. So buckle up, guys. We're going to close out the year strong and start the new one even stronger.